Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Bethel Board of Education May 10th, 2021 Board of Education meeting. It is 7:16 p.m. I apologize for the delays as I am running the computer. We'll now call to order at 7:16 p.m. I will call the roll. Ms. Mansfield?
Here.
Mr. Elam?
Here.
Ms. Sebastian?
Here.
Ms. Reese?
Present.
And myself, Mr. King, is here. Next is the Pledge of Allegiance. We all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Do we think we need any additions to the agenda tonight?
Put us voting on the recommendation from the facilities, or do we just put that in the board?
Put that into the board section.
Yes, it would be in addition.
Okay. All right. Next would be hearing of the public. With regards to any of the agenda items. Does anybody have any questions with regards to agenda items? Okay, moving on to administrative reports. I'll turn this over to Mr. Burks.
Administrative reports have been attached to the agenda. As discussed previously, we're typically not going to do reviews from here on forward. So if any of the board members had any of the questions on the information that was provided, although I am going to allow each of the building principals to introduce some of the new staff members that are on the agenda this evening for consideration. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to the elementary principals, and then I'll have Mr. Ziegler go to middle school as well.
Okay. Our first new hire is Brooke Hoblet. Brooke started off her teaching career in National Trail, I believe, and then transitioned to Graham Local Schools as an assistant principal at the elementary level. She's looking to get back into teaching, into her passion for reading, and so we are happy to be hiring her as our reading specialist to work alongside Mrs. Lawson with some of our struggling readers. So we're welcome to have Brooke here this evening. Also, Katie Williams is currently a staff member here on a part-time basis. She was unable to attend this evening. She was ill today, but she does wish to at least be recognized. She is going to move into a full-time position with our ESL program, and we are currently in the process of trying to fill her position. So those are the two new hires that we have at Bethel Elementary School.
Thank you.
Happy to introduce our new PE and health teacher, Mr. Scott Mims. And I'm going to go ahead and let Scott get used to this in a hurry. Scott, if you'd like to share anything you'd like the board to know about you tonight before they vote you in. So.
I grew up in Trotwood, went to Dixie. That's where I graduated from. Started at St. Clair, transferred to Wright State, got my K through 12 health and physical education. For the past year, I've been a long-term sub at Dixie Elementary in the PE position, and that teacher is coming back next year. So I'm applying for this job and looking forward to hopefully bringing new ideas and new things to the school system.
Thank you.
Mr. Swope was currently attending the Excellence in Education program this evening, where a number of the Bethel students were being recognized. So I'll also acknowledge or recognize our last hire on the agenda this evening for consideration. Mr. Caleb South is our girls basketball coach. Mr. South is a graduate of Bethel Local Schools. This last school year, he was an assistant coach at Tri-Village for the women's program. He's also head coach at Ohio Elite AAU program, and also is CEO of CPS training, where he works with a number of student athletes, not only throughout the state of Ohio, but also at the collegiate level. So although very young, we're excited about Caleb's knowledge and passion for the game of basketball. And hopefully some of the new ideas and excitement that he can bring to our girls basketball program. So, Caleb is here as well with you folks this evening.
Thank you.
On behalf of the district, I'd like to welcome each and every one of you. Well, I shouldn't say that prematurely because you haven't been voted on yet. But typically, it goes pretty well. I'd like to welcome you to the district. It's an exciting time here at Bethel. We have a lot of changes taking place in the district, both facility-wise, but also change in the growth of the district and the demographic in the district. So you're coming at a time where there's rapid change. And so each of you stood out during the interview process for a variety of reasons. And we're excited to bring you to our school family and wish you the best of luck as you transition into either back into the classroom or into a new career field. So thank you for being here this evening. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, next is important dates to know. This may take a minute as the internet is functioning extremely slow.
We're able to make one change from the work session. We identified an incorrect date. Senior's last day of school was Monday, May 24th. I think we had during the work session the 25th. So we were able to make that change on the calendar of events. Everything else remained the same.
Excellent. Almost give you back. All right, next up will be treasurer's items requesting board action. Treasurer is not available today. I do not believe, based on his communication with us, that there was any of the items that he had that have changed from the work session to what he presented for those. Key elements I think is important is the donations that people have given. So from Rick and Diana Gilbert, the clarinet for the Bethel Band. Is that Brian Dills?
Yes.
Yeah.
Various office and personal cleaning supplies for the elementary, to include 250 folders of various styles, 200 packs of pencils, 50 packs of 6 oversized glue sticks, 100 personal size hand sanitizers, 50 to 60 pump bottles of hand sanitizer, 60 small packages of wipes and tissues, 12 packages of pens, and various binders. We're very appreciative of both those gifts that have been given to the school, and we thank you for that. So next would be a motion to place the items from the treasurer's items on the consent calendar. Thank you, Lida, for the motion. We have a second. Thank you, Julie, for the second. Any discussion? All right. Julie, I'm sorry, Lida.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Ms. Reese,
Yes.
Ms. Sebastian,
Yes.
Mr. Elam,
Yes.
Ms. King, yes. Weird to ask yourself the same question. A motion to accept the consent calendar with the items from the treasurer's report. Thank you, Mr. Elam.
I'll second. This is Lori.
Thank you, Ray, for the second. Discussion? For the vote, Mr. Elam,
Yes.
Ms. Sebastian,
Yes.
Ms. Mansfield,
Yes.
Ms. Reese,
Yes.
Mr. King, yes. There was no other information presented to us to provide by the treasurer at this time. Next up will be superintendent's items requesting board action.
On the agenda this evening for consideration is a number of items in regards to number 8, items requesting Board of Education action and approval. The first item is one that you see frequently on the agenda. It's anytime our substitute teacher list changes at the Miami County Educational Service Center, we have to have a reapproval from the local Board of Education. So that is item number A, or excuse me, letter A. Letter B is approval of 1-year limited contracts for certified staff. We did have one change on there. We were able to receive additional coursework transcripts for Katie Williams. She was bumped up on the scale from MA, Masters of Arts plus 15 to MA 30, which was a slight change in her degree status, which caused a slight increase in her placement on the salary schedule. You can see the other 2 folks that are on here, both are here this evening as well, are all on the agenda this evening for consideration. Resumes are attached as well in the executive's file for your review. Letter C is approval contract notice for classified staff, 2-year contracts. You can see the number of classified staff that are listed within that agenda, from secretarial positions to assistant maintenance and grounds, technology assistant, bus drivers, custodians, some of our healthcare clinicians, and bus aides as well. Those folks are listed. Letter D, approve the resignation of classified employee. I'd like to thank Mrs. Lauren Clute for her service on our custodial staff. With the change in her home district going back to traditional schooling with her young children at home, it's been tough for her to work with second shift. So that was the reason for her resignation this evening. Letter E is the approval of Caitlin Pytel. Her resume is attached as well for custodial staff. This is to replace Melissa Rhodes, who resigned earlier in the school year, second shift position as well. Letter F is approval of supplemental positions, fall, winter sports, and also non-supplementals. Resumes are attached for some new additions to our staff on the coaching side. Mr. Butch Wise, Mr. Derek Goins, who currently serves as assistant maintenance in the district, Mr. Jeremy Lee as an assistant coach, and then also Coach Johnson will be serving as our JV girls basketball coach. And those additional supplementals, we still have a couple of positions that could be filled as we go along, but overwhelming majority of them are on the agenda this evening for consideration, which is good to get those approved because then it allows those folks to start working with our co-curricular and extracurricular activities in June once school's out and the teams and the different clubs start their summer activities. Letter G is approval of diploma issuances for the class of 2021. That list is provided, which is a standard annual approval by all school boards. Letter H is approval of class fees for the school year 21-22. So as you can see, we've made some continued strides in trying to be financially good stewards to our parents and reduce class fees in areas where we can. There are some areas where class fees did go up, but there are a lot of areas where they were either reduced or eliminated based on enrollment participation in courses where maybe classes in middle school and high school levels weren't going to be offered moving forward. Letter I, approval of OHSAA board resolution. This is one that all districts in Ohio that participate in interscholastic athletics or the OHSAA have to approve annually. All school boards just allows them to participate not only in the regular season, but also the postseason tournaments. Letter J, approval of the 21-22 ticket prices and all sport passes. This is a friendly reminder, we are joining a new athletic conference next year, the TRC, the Three Rivers Conference. So our all varsity sports and non-varsity sport prices are going to be determined by the bylaws of the TRC. And then also, we have added some additional ticket options for our families, which will be new this year, completely optional, but it is allowing families, if they feel like they have kiddos that attend a lot more frequent events, that they can get kind of a price cut based on a season type pass, not only for students, but adults, family passes, or a multi-event pass. So hopefully as time goes on, this will be gaining more popularity throughout the district, and folks will find out that it's going to allow them to save some money and also attend a number of eventful events, which is what we want to see. Letter K is one that we've been working on throughout the course of the year. We had a resolution on last board meeting to transfer our technology internet services from Meta Solutions to WOCO. And now we're in the process of changing over the rest of the remaining systems that we have with EMIS, Progress Book, et cetera, to WOCO as well. WOCO brings a number of benefits to Bethel, smaller IT, a lot more customer service friendly. Worked with them previously with great success. And I think hopefully with the transition, some of the issues that we're experiencing tonight will go away. So we're looking forward to the partnership moving forward with WOCO. But just as for transparency's sake, internet will be an immediate switch for the 21-22 school year. The transfer of student data, privacy documents will take about 1 year. So that will take effect June 30th of 21 this year. And then it'll be a complete switch over by June 30th of 22. If that makes sense. Letter L is the second reading of Neola updates 39.2 for winter and special updates. That was a bunch. That's everything on the agenda this evening.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Firks.
You're welcome.
Do we have a motion to place items from the superintendent's report on the consent calendar?
I'll move.
Thank you, Mr. Elam. Do we have a second? Thank you, Ms. Mansfield. Any discussion? Mr. Elam,
Yes.
Ms. Mansfield,
Yes.
Ms. Sebastian,
yes,
Ms. Reese,
Yes.
Mr. Kane, yes. Next would be a motion to adopt the consent calendar items from the superintendent's report.
this is, okay, I'll second.
Thank you, Julie, Ms. Reese, and thank you, Ms. Sebastian, for the second. Any discussion? First off, I want to thank, from me, I would like to thank the building leaders, the principals, Ms. Petty, Ms. Roll, and Mr. Ziegler, and Mr. Slope is not here, for your work on the school fees, trying to keep those as low as possible, cut where we can to reduce the burden on the families in the district from the fees, so appreciate that. Next, I would say I'd like to thank Ms. Klute for her service to the district, especially during this unique time where, custodial services is it's always important, but as well as we dealt with the secondary disinfection piece with COVID, making it that much more difficult. So just want to say thank you for that, as well as welcome our new staff, new coaches, new classified, new everybody. Some return, many of them returning to the supplemental. So, but welcome Caleb as well to the team. For Uncle Bob as the head coach. So looking forward to those great things.
I just have one comment too. Hopefully, Mr. Brooks can confirm this, if I remember this correctly. I think you said that WOCO would not only provide, we're expecting better service and more personal service, but also would save the school money.
Yeah, with our internet services, we were able to save dollar amounts, and then also with the additional services they're able to provide with additional professional development and resources if you would need assistance with EMIS coordinator type duties or responsibilities, but also with Treasury Department type resources and duties. The unique thing about WOCO is the participating sites or schools actually are part owners of the company. And so you're able to sit in, not necessarily on a board of directors type role, but they definitely have more frequent meetings with their participating membership and provide a lot more input and insight on the services that you're providing, areas of opportunity to get better, but also things that are going well.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, just like to say how exciting it is every year to see the diploma issuances, but also this year that we actually get to have a graduation. And
Yes.
like a proper one, so exciting. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And the first year, we're going to be in Hobart, so it'll be a
Yes.
different experience too.
Yes.
I'd like to welcome our new hires as well. Kate Vitale, especially Caleb, for giving Bethel graduates a chance here as well.
So I'll move on to call the vote. Ms. Reese,
Yes.
Ms. Sebastian,
Yes.
Mr. Elam,
Yes.
Ms. Mansfield,
Yes.
Mr. King, yes. Any other information from the superintendent?
No, sir.
Okay. Moving forward, we have board reports.
So the first thing is, we give a summary of the facilities committee meeting that was held immediately in front of this meeting. Just a short summary for the board. The items discussed today, well, we got a project update from Garland Miller. The progress of the, actually on the K-5 building, on the, what will provide the wireless and internet and everything. It's called PON, which stands for Passive Optical Network. And so we asked about it last time. Basically, this is a fiber optic system that will require less updating and should be more reliable and faster and will actually meet the needs of the building. And then the second item on the agenda was to have a building budget discussion regarding the schematic design and the reconciliation based on the estimated cost of some of the items. We had a laundry list of items we discussed to potentially remove from the project, at least at this time. Some of it's reducing things, removing things, so there's a whole list. And at the end of that, we had a recommendation to the board to accept the schematic design reconciliation as Garmin Miller presented it. And then the next steps would be to look at the exterior finishes, work on design development docs, and get some updates on this, the State Route 201 out here, some of the changes or some of the traffic studies, and then some power and utility options. And that's the summary. The next meeting will be June 14th at 5 as it stands right now. So your next item, Jake, is to, I guess, propose that, accept the recommendation, or I don't know how we did it last time.
So this is kind of what I captured. You advise, Mr. Burks and yourself advise if I have this correctly, would be to make a motion to accept the recommendation from the facilities committee to accept the reduction in square footage of space to include kitchen, cafeteria, gym, and removal of the loop to the roadway. And other recommendations by Garland Miller that were presented. Does that capture it?
So.
Okay.
Jacob, I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Sebastian. Do we have a second? Thank you, Ms. Mansfield, for the second. Discussion?
I think aside from just reminding everyone that through this project, there's going to be back and forth consistently, like regularly for every project, and the prices we have now are predictions and not guarantees. And then as we move forward, we're doing the best we can with what we have, and Garmin Miller and Peterson are doing the best they can with what we have. And when we get actual numbers, we may have to look at things again that we think that we are set on, that are promised, and that we think we're going to be able to build and offer the community. And when the real numbers come, we may have to make some more hard decisions. And we are not any more bigger fans of this than anybody else is. We're just as torn every time we have to make a decision to cut something, move something, reduce something, table something for contingency later if we end up being able to afford it. And it's a lot of back and forth, and it's, you know, we're not complaining, we're not whining that that's our position. We're just trying to make sure that everyone understands that there are times we're going to have to set something aside and make a difficult decision in order to offer the best facility to the students and staff and the community that we possibly can. And until we have real solid numbers and actually lock it down at that final, what's it called, the GMP, when we finally get a lockdown number, then we'll all feel a heck of a lot better. But until that day gets here, there's just going to be a lot of times when we can say, oh, we're going to be able to do this, and we're all very excited, and then we may have to backtrack. So we don't like that position. We feel like we're waffling until we get that solid number. We just like to make that clear to everyone that it looks great right now, but we may have to scale back again.
I think the key takeaway is creating an itemized wish list item.
Yeah.
So we're gonna prioritize our wish lists, and then once contingencies come in, we can see what, what are the add-ons that we can do.
Exactly. We're trying very, very hard to under-promise and over-deliver
Correct.
instead of going the other way around. And that's just difficult because we've seen the schematic and we all know how fabulous it could be. And, the COVID environment for construction costs is ridiculous right now. And no one saw that coming when we first saw that schematic and first got ideas for this building. So, we're just doing the best we can and trying to provide the best environment to our students and staff that we possibly can do. And, any kind of luck, contingency will hold out and we can, add a lot of things back in that we can right now. So that's our goal.
I think some of it's inherent in the way we do it too, because we start out with a, everything, right? Everything we want, but then we run up against the budget wall. So, for me, it's, as she said, it's a tough decision and there's not really any other choice. It's what we have to do at this point.
Yeah, and I'd like to thank Garmin Miller for all the time they spent on making recommendations to us and for all the facilities committee members. I thought there was some very productive conversation tonight, especially regarding the kitchen space and the gym space. We're trying to design facilities not just for now, but for the future, and provide athletic spaces, not just for current students, but for where we'll be in the future. So thank you to them and to all the committee members for the feedback. And hopefully Jacob will get the loop road eventually.
Yeah. If you listen to the YouTube video with regards to that long drawn out conversation with regards to the roadway, you'll understand our perspective of why I think it's extremely important that we have it. So to not compromise the additional classroom space that we were able to afford, and the fact that we have stood by the fact that we have not gone to voters for money for the project, then we have to make those cuts, and hopefully as things go on, we will not impact any of that additional classroom educational space that we've been able to put into the project. So, and that's I think our key goal: safety and security, and maintain an educational environment for the school. It's extremely important. And so we're going to try and do everything we can to at least maintain that educational environment. So, because we know that the OFCC numbers only allowed us so much square footage, we did have to put in our local funded items to add in additional classrooms. So, because we know we're going to need them based on what they have.
Jacob, I probably should also thank our administrative team because I'm sure they were instrumental in the recommendations that Garmin Miller made to us, and especially Mr. Ferks and Mr. Smith for working those numbers time and time again. And the other people, I'm sure Miss Petty and Miss Roll as well, but I know it involved a lot of administrator time too. I didn't include them when I said thank you.
Thank you. Very true. Thank you to the entire team, the cores, the staff, and the building leaders for helping us get to where we are today. Any other items for discussion with regards to this motion? All right. I will call the vote. Ms. Sebastian?
Yes.
Ms. Mansfield?
Yes.
Ms. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Elam?
Yes.
Mr. King? Yes. All right. Next, although it's not on our line item up here, will be hearing of the BEA president, Ms. Brewer.
Okay. First, I want to welcome the new staff. Welcome to the Hive. You'll never leave. I say that with a smile on my face. I want to personally thank the Bethel PTO for the Teacher Appreciation Day of the Zombie Dogs. It was amazing. I had the hot dog with the mac and cheese. Awesome. The cookies were amazing. It was a great day. So thank you, Bethel PTO. I want to wish a somewhat belated Happy Mother's Day to all the faculty and staff. I hope you all had a great day yesterday. I know I did. I want to congratulate Mr. Bob Hamlin, Mrs. Stormy Maluski, Mrs. Chelsea Porto, and Mrs. Leah Wharton, who are being recognized tonight for the Excellence in Education ceremony. And then finally, I want to give a huge thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Gordy Wells. They had an amazing donation to the Bethel Education Association, and I thank them immensely. So thank you. That's it.
Thank you.
Jacob, I had one more thank you to follow up on Tracy's. I don't think we said thank you to those who organized the prom and after prom, but I know besides Miss Owens and Mrs. Gatrell, who historically have done the prom, I can't even start to thank all the teachers who chaperoned and the parents who organized and helped out with after prom, but I just want to bring that to everyone's attention because that was a lot of time and energy and fundraising. So thank you to all those who were involved with that.
Thank you, Lori. All right, next would be hearing of the public. So I was checking our YouTube for any questions. Do we have any of the hearing of the public from inside the room? Hearing none. Next would be executive session. Does anybody have any needs to go into executive session? Number one. Okay. Any others?
I could get a brief update on number 4.
Okay. Number 1 and number 4. All right. Do we have a motion to go into executive session for items 1 and 4? Thank you, Ms. Mansfield. Second, Julie, Ms. Reese, thank you. Any discussion? Does anyone feel that the discussions in 1 and 4 would drive the requirement of the board to vote? Okay. This time it appears executive session will only be with regards to discussion. Any other discussion items? All right. Calling the vote, Ms. Mansfield,
Yes.
Ms. Reese,
Yes.
Ms. Sebastian,
Yes.
Mr. Elam,
Yes.
Mr. King, yes. All right, time into executive session will be at 7:48 p.m. I'd like to thank you all for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Welcome aboard.
Congratulations. Congratulations.